Clytus, I'm bored. What plaything can you offer me today?
An obscure body in the SK system, Your Majesty. The inhabitants refer to it as the planet Earth.
How peaceful it looks.
Hello, and welcome to the Loose Butthole Reviews. I'm your host, Smokey, and joining with me, as always, is my co-host, Booge. Oh, we got our two co-hosts joining with us, Murda and Starfish.
Hello.
Hi. That's right. I'm officially a host now. And on this one, I chose the film. Ha ha ha.
Nice. Kind of fitting, but last
Oh no, it's
one
the most
you.
fitting.
Last review, you was the host too. You was
No, it's this time. Nope, it's this time.
It's on the 5th review you upgrade.
Yeah, I think you became official for Power Rangers.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
But before we get into the review, there's always 3 rules. These rules 3. First rule, gotta be a fraction of 5. I say 5 out of 5 every time. That's the incorrect way of saying that, but whatever. 1 out of 5 means we hate it. 5 out of 5 means we love it. Rule number 2 is if we want our money back, we give it that good old Jeff Goldblum rating. Oh, and rule number 3, if we all agree that it deserves a 6 out of 5, a God tier, then it will get that God tier. And today we are reviewing Flash Gordon.
This was part of our Sci-Fi September. This was Starfish's pick.
Yes, thank you. I almost forgot.
But I interrupted the Flash song.
It's the only
and that
Queen
song has
yet.
been in my head. It has been in my head since we watched the movie.
I guess that's what they were trying to do, but I wish there was more. I wish there was so much more.
Well, Starfish has some clarifications to your opinion about how much Queen music is in this film. So don't worry, it's all to come.
Yeah. That's the background. That's the production.
Yes, it's all to come. Yes, all to come.
Get it? You broke the rules. I think you're on mute.
I think Starfish. I think
no,
you're
I'm on mute. Oh no, I said so many cool things. Oh no! All right. One more time. Breaking rules left and right because we like it tight. This one, ever-present listener, we're actually going to jump into the plot on this one, and then we're going to get into that juicy background because there's quite a lot of things that happened with this Flash Gordon. It is the Flash Gordon from 1980. Flash Gordon, just a tiny little bit here. Flash Gordon has been in the popular culture since 1936. So it's ever present in the backgrounds of our lives. It is also very hard to say Flash without my brain constantly going, ah!
Yeah.
So jumping right into the plot here.
Can we give our thoughts on the plot first, like our feelings on the plot first? Should we? I feel that should be warranted.
Sure. Give your feelings on the plot.
It was
what you got for us,
not great. Not great at all. This is re-listening to it. It's not gonna be that. It's very anticlimactic.
Well, for me, hearing the plot laid out will help me because I was very confused at some points, but I also was in and out of sleep, not because of this movie. I just had, some.
I'm gonna blame the movie.
No. We could blame a hangover from the night before. So yeah, I kind of dipped in and out there, and I'd like some of these plot devices to be explained to me because I was confused.
Yeah, so I will say my personal feelings on the plot. It is weird, and kind of zany, and probably the weakest part of the film, in my opinion. And we'll get into why that is as we go through the plot here.
I was fine with it.
All right. Well, Spooge was fine with it.
A one-sentence feeling.
So,
That's how much the plot was, though.
we hop right in to someone talking. We don't know who this is, unless, of course, you have subtitles on. So, to alleviate his boredom. Excuse me?
Doesn't his protege say, "Oh, Emperor"? What? So I can't remember his name right now.
Emperor Ming. Emperor Ming.
He might. I don't remember. I don't remember.
I just remember
that.
You couldn't have let me play stupid there. Come on.
And I remember the buttons. I remember the buttons with the earthquake and the hot hail.
I could have swore he was like, "Oh, Emperor Ming, what are we gonna do today?" or something like that. I could have swore he says his name.
Yeah, in the very beginning.
All right. Emperor Ming, he wants to alleviate his boredom. This is Emperor Ming the Merciless of the planet Mongo, and he begins the destruction of Earth via natural disasters, and he causes these natural disasters with his remote control. A football star, who was originally a polo player in the comics, Gregory Flash Gordon.
Oh, they should have kept him a polo player.
But polo wasn't cool in 1980. Polo was only cool in 1936.
I just want to say, for a football player, he sucked at football. He
looked more like a polo player.
He was pretty thin. They do mention that he's a quarterback. But
swore I remembered him being.
He's
jacked.
also not very tall.
Am I the only one? I could have.
I think the artwork makes him jacked. I think the artwork for the for the whatever the fuck you call it, poster shit.
Maybe
so
there's a movie
the theatrical release poster.
But I could have swore I saw him jacked. Way more bigger, a lot bigger than he is in this.
Well, anyways, this non-jacked Gregory Flash Gordon, he boards a small plane, and there he meets his travel agent, Dale Arden. That's right. His romantic interest is a travel agent. Mid-flight, the cockpit of their plane is hit by a giant piece of hot hail, and the pilots are killed, although they're just gone. We see no bodies or even the hail impacting the cockpit. They're just gone, and there's a hole in the windshield of the cockpit now.
The hot hail flew through the window and then landed in their laps, and they went, jumped out.
Can I just...
The pressurized cockpit, they got sucked out.
I'd like to add something that I noticed in the very first minute of the film when is it Emperor Ming who's talking and pressing the buttons?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's like this planet Earth, implying that this word has never been said before, Earth.
Earth.
But they have a button that says earthquake.
Yeah, I know. Isn't it great?
I want to know.
It's Prime. It's Prime Camp.
Was it intentional, or was that someone not paying attention to the plot?
I think that was someone not paying attention.
I think that a more accurate representation, if he just did this to a bunch of different planets, would be like Tremors or something like that.
Yes.
But calling it an earthquake and then saying Earth is kind of ridiculous.
Wait, that could have been how they pronounced the word, though. I mean, we're kind of maligning them,
so
you know.
So no, I'm gonna malign them because if you have a word on your remote, and this is something you do regularly, you get bored and you go destroy other planets for the fun of it, and you have a button called Earthquake, like
Now,
I really don't think in their alien language they are able to know what Earth, like they set it up as if they don't know what Earth is.
So this
Well, I
But
mean,
then
they
have
have
the
Earth
Earthquake.
wedding
This is a
music
point-
too,
this is a
so
point for
Yeah,
them.
that's
they
true.
do.
We're assuming that the symbols we are seeing are alphabet, right? But they could mean they could be completely different to them. That could be a completely different language as far as we know.
say aardvark.
And that is super fair. And I wish the film explained this,
I
but
don't
it
think
does
it's
not.
fair.
Our language.
I don't
see?
think that's fair.
You get
George Lucas would have.
I
Hey,
think
quiet
they
down over there.
I think they just fucked up.
Don't be talking about Mr. Lucas. Um,
We're actually going to mention Mr. Lucas later.
Oh
Yep.
yeah, he's
Um,
heavily tied.
all
to
right,
this.
all right. So
Back to the plot.
the cockpit is empty, the windshield's broken, and Flash, who, by the way, just want to mention, he is wearing a T-shirt that says Flash on it. So we know he's a famous football player, and he is wearing his own merch. Just for anyone who's curious as to
I mean,
why
you gotta
his
rep
shirt
that
says
merch.
Flash on it. Yeah, but probably not if
I
you're
know-
a famous football player.
I
I
know
don't
this
think
is-
they really do that.
I know this is an audible mediable, but if we had a fucking T-shirt, you best believe I'd be rocking it every time we record.
Sure. And I probably would too. But, if like we got if we became YouTube famous and we were raking in a bunch of money, I don't know if I would still wear our own merch.
I'm wearing our hoodies. That is for sure.
It depends on how cool the merch is.
Like
That's true.
We gotta test the product. You can't just fucking like throw product out there. The fuck.
Sure, I'll wear it for one day, but I'm not gonna like. I mean, but
Depends on the artwork.
So we find out that
See,
Flash has
now
actually
that's
been learning
exactly-
how
we
to
got the
pilot the
design
plane,
right.
and he takes control of the plane and manages to crash land it into the greenhouse of a famous NASA scientist, Dr. Hans Zarkov.
This was the most
Oh, yeah.
confusing character to me, by the way.
He was like a crazy Dr. Honeydew, an even crazier Dr. Honeydew.
Yeah, so
Big gun.
Dr. Hans has been trying to convince his assistant that the natural disasters and the recent eclipse are the cause of aliens.
Dr. Hands?
Yeah, Dr. Hans Zarkov.
Wasn't it Hans?
Yeah, Hans Hans is the same thing.
I just, I don't know, when I hear Dr. Hands, I think of Mr. Hands, and I don't want to think about Mr. Hands.
So the doctor's been trying to convince his assistant. Dr. Hans has been trying to convince his assistant.
Call him Zarkov.
It's Zarkov.
Okay,
Zarkov.
all right. Zarkov's been trying to convince his assistant. Is that grammatically correct for everyone?
That's right.
Yeah, I just feel, yes.
All right. So the assistant, who we don't actually get all that much of, is ridiculous, and I think Smokey had some thoughts on him.
I blanked out. Where were we again?
All right.
I know
So
where
while
it is. I know we just got to the doctor part, but what exactly are we doing here?
I like Zarkov.
So Zarkov has an assistant, and Zarkov's assistant is a short, kind of portly white man with fair hair. And I think there's a
he's an
famous
escaped German.
Zabrowski.
He's an
I think there's a
escaped-
famous Zabrowski that
Oh,
you
yeah, he said
really
it should
wanted.
be Zabrowski.
Oh, fuck yeah! Henry Zabrowski needs to play the goddamn assistant.
Yeah,
Yes, they'll have to
Beaker.
remake the movie.
They're gonna have to remake the whole movie just to recast that one fucking.
Yep, a throwaway part that has like 6 lines.
Hey, I'm the perfect. That's why I need to be a producer. I'm perfect. I'm always there. I'm always making the perfect corrections, but nobody ever fucking listens to me.
I did, but you forgot.
Yes, I did.
Um,
Joke.
You didn't listen to you this time. Um, so he's been trying to convince his assistant that all of these happenings on Earth are the cause of aliens, and to that end, he has secretly made a spaceship to investigate these aliens. However, due to a bad design of the spaceship, he needs another person to hold down a red panel for it to take off for some reason. Um, this I have like such a huge problem with this.
That's that German. That's that German fucking uh, engineering coming out.
It's
Yeah.
very
yeah,
not
maybe
safe.
I don't know.
He is
well, I mean,
so. He's
Seems
so,
more like Russian engineering.
Yeah,
yeah,
Zarkov sounds like a Slavic name.
I don't know. He just seemed to me.
it's
I
possible.
thought I was getting escaped German Nazi scientist vibes.
Oh yeah, yeah. They actually
that,
confirmed that.
like
That he,
I.
but
Yeah,
I think they confirmed that he was actually Jewish.
yeah, he was.
So
That's confirmed
it
later
just,
on.
it to be honest,
I
it
don't remember
felt
that
like he was a
conversation.
bit sympathetic.
It's our conversation. We'll get to that later, but
I feel
it'll be more apparent.
that's just like
We
the
actually
vibes
see
I
it.
was getting. I definitely was like, oh, this guy definitely worked on the Manhattan Project.
Oh yeah. But I think he was one of the guys that like escaped for his life instead of like
I can't
getting blue
say
clipped.
he acted pretty well. They acted pretty well because I was able to read. I was able to read him very
Mhm.
well. And if I'm able to read you and call what you are without any context whatsoever, you're doing pretty well.
Yes. But yeah, he basically made the ship with like partially with like one of those like swan like couple boats that you like go on like the lake on for a romantic evening because they had to have like a bunch of people like holding a pedal or putting their foot on a pedal. Wasn't that how the ship had to
Uh,
go?
yeah. So there's like this red panel that like someone has to be sitting across from the cockpit and pressing it down with both of their feet in order for the spaceship to actually operate. And that is why it's such terrible design. It's not it you know, I like he fully intended for this spaceship to be like launched with his assistant, and his assistant was not down for it. So much so that he tries to escape out of the greenhouse while Zarkov is reviewing some different like computer data stuff. While he's trying to escape out of the greenhouse, that's when Gregory Flash Gordon and Dale Arden bust through the greenhouse, narrowly missing the assistant. Um, they get off the plane, they meet Zarkov, and within just a few like maybe a minute and a half, Zarkov convinces this football star and this travel agent to get onto the spaceship he created.
There's a phone inside.
Hey,
There's a phone inside.
I want to say the football star probably has a bunch of head injuries. He's not
Right.
firing on all cylinders anymore. And
No.
Travel agent though.
travel agent,
She should have known it better.
Yeah, she should have known. That. She should have known what was up exact. Like as soon as she saw the crash, she should have been like, "That's not OSHA certified, right there."
Yeah. So they get on this plane. He now has the additional warm body to hold down this red panel, and so they blast off into space. And here is where we get a couple of first glimpses. We get into space with the crew. And we see this really awesome effect for 1980. I'd like to remind everyone, and I may do this a couple times through this review, but in terms of this film, 1979 was a year ago. So like the 70s just ended. I think that like for a lot of the
Lovely set
effects in
design.
this film, like for a lot of effects in this film, you know, it really speaks to how much money was thrown at it, because a lot of these effects are like pretty good for the time period. Um, So we see this mysterious kind of like floating eye of gaseous like vortexes and stuff, and Zarkov pilots the ship into it, um, and they land on the planet Mongo, where they are all immediately captured by Emperor Ming's guards. This is also our another first glimpse here of the sets and costumes of the movie. And although some are incredibly cheesy, and I think a lot of people here have comments on their cheesiness, um, other costumes and sets are brilliant, bold, and, in my opinion, delightful.
I loved all the costumes. I loved all the set designs. I I do get some major cult vibes from a specific cult, some Order of the Solar Temple vibes from the whole get up, which I did some research. No connections whatsoever, unfortunately.
Well, not that is known.
I actually
Doesn't mean that there's not.
I liked a lot of the costume designs. My problem was the costumes looked very not all of them, but a lot of them looked very cheap. It looked like you went to Spirit Halloween and got that real thin, material that tears within 2 seconds.
That also like goes up in
just
flames.
a lot
real
of
fast.
a lot of them just looked very cheap, but I liked the designs themselves.
Yeah, I think it definitely looks like that's where they got it from, but it definitely looks like then they brought it home and then definitely like actually worked on
Altered
it,
it.
made it, altered it and stuff. But it's kind of that's why I actually really love it. It's kind of a Guar vibe for me.
I got a bit of a deep cut here. The set design's a bit of a Tony Dutoit vibes.
No, yeah.
I don't know that reference.
I don't know what that is either.
But
I'll pretend to.
The internet knows.
Oh my god, he is the goddamn set designer for Order of the goddamn Solar Temple.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Okay. Well, I don't know him by name.
He's the one that
named
he's the one that named his baby fucking the cosmic after the cosmic child to fuck over I think it was Luke Jarre. It might have been Joe DiMaggio.
Okay.
One of the two, and they got really pissed.
I got
Y'all need to read this.
Take your word for it.
They, after being captured, are brought to Ming, and while waiting for their audience with him, we see a bunch of groups of different people, and we see some of the people and kingdoms under Ming's rule. One group does not have a tribute for him, and instead offers Ming their undying loyalty.
They specifically don't have a tribute because he already destroyed their whole city.
Yep.
Yeah, so they had nothing to bring.
Yeah. So Ming then, getting this undying loyalty as tribute, Ming requests that the leader of these people fall on their sword. The leader obliges and acts like he will, and then swings out at Ming. Ming uses either some technology or magic within his ring to freeze him, and then murders the leader himself.
Hey, disloyalty. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, right. But so that's something that, like,
he said undying.
Yeah, it's true. He did. The thing that gets me though is like, is the ring magic, or is it just so technologically advanced that it seems like magic? Like, that's something.
Star Wars.
It definitely.
Yeah, exactly.
But I can't get into it. We'll have to talk about the ring at the end of it.
Sure.
Yes.
Because something happens with the ring. I have a theory
about
the ring.
It does.
God damn it.
Yep, he does things with the ring. He sure does. So then they're brought before Ming, and Ming is smitten with Dale Arden. Dale is a female, if that was not made clear previously. um, so he kind of like uses his ring to like bring Dale like close to him against her will, and it definitely experiences something.
She should have brought the pocket sand.
I think it's implied that like he is like awakening arousal within her. I don't.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to tell.
I cannot say because this is one of the parts I fell asleep at.
So it's very strange.
It's definitely creepy because he also implies that this is also the first implication with his daughter too, and he's like,
yeah,
you react differently to my ring than my daughter.
Yep, and so his daughter, who
I want to state, have they ever did they no, not state redact that, but I just want to say this. Did they, I want to ask this, did they confirm that they were blood related, or did he like kidnap her and raise her as a daughter?
We have no idea where his daughter
Katana situation.
Sure, but we have no idea like where his daughter came from.
Okay, so yeah,
we just know that she is his daughter, whether that be through like him destroying all of her peoples and forcing her to be his daughter, or
there was one point when she said like you do this to your own blood.
Okay.
Okay. So then that answers that.
See, there
we go.
While this is happening, his daughter, the Princess Aura, she kind of wraps her body around Ming's a bit and starts twirling his beard pretty seductively,
jealous of that beard,
and asks if she can have Flash. Flash, seeing like what had happened to Dale and that Ming is definitely going to abduct Dale, then starts to fight for her. And he uses all of his sweet football moves to beat up Ming's guards for a couple of different waves. Use a different
adjective there. Use a different sweet. You were way too nice with the adjective sweet.
His football moves are the sweetest, hottest football moves that this galaxy has ever seen.
That fight sequence is
great. Doing a disservice to football, sir.
And we know that because Dale, a travel agent, agrees.
I don't think she's watched a game of football in her life.
Well, either way, she's very impressed with football moves.
I have seen high school games. I have seen high school football games. It's more entertaining than that shit.
He still won.
So that is absolutely correct, Spooge. He did still win, and he beat down all those guards, and then he goes after his prime target, Ming, and Ming also Ming freezes him before he can actually hurt Ming and sentences Flash Gordon to death.
Dun dun dun.
The daughter of Emperor Ming, Princess Aura, has a love at first sight for Flash and hatches a plot following his execution sentence to prevent his death. She seduces the doctor that checks to make sure that he is dead, and through the doctor she gives him medicine prior to the lethal gas execution.
Gotta say, why'd Ming keep the body? And why did he do it in such a elaborate, extravagant way? What?
Trophy. It's the first Earthling who came to his planet and tried to stop him.
But
he's a trophy.
I don't think wouldn't Dale be suffice enough to be a trophy? I mean, she's even alive.
No, this is 1980. Dale's a woman.
I know it's kind of.
You gotta give something to Lizardman.
Yes, okay.
You gotta give the Lizardman something to do. You gotta give the Lizardman something to do.
I get it. It's kind of weird coming from me. I'm saying, why you keeping this person? But Why are you keeping Flash Gordon? I mean, come on, you can. You
Well,
saw
think
the
about
football.
so
You saw how he plays
yeah.
football. It
Maybe,
sucks.
Yeah,
maybe,
you did.
Come
You
on,
you
what?
you did see how he played football. He played football
maybe
so
he was
good that
gonna.
he literally beat all of Ming's guards. So here's this random guy he knows nothing about, and he kicks all of his like royal guards
How much
ass like
experience does these
super
guys
hard.
got? How much guys are we talking about? Like people that play football, or these people that've
No.
never played football in their life, and they're like just now? Do they even know how to play? Do they know the fundamentals?
No, they don't.
I don't
Okay,
know.
so-
These
So
these,
yeah, no.
these freaky alien barbarian people. I don't know. She might have convinced him. Be like, okay, then let me just have his body. Maybe she convinced the Ming that like the princess did.
I'm just
She
saying,
might have.
bit of, and Ming's got to know. Ming has to know there's technology. He has it. He has to know that there is technology that can bring him back to life. Why?
Sure, but
What?
No one
until
would
this
dare.
point- up until this point, I don't think that Princess Aura has like she may be seducing quite a lot of people around the castle and stuff, but I don't think that she's ever like outright tried to go completely against his will. At least
Why
that's
did
kind of
Ming- Why did Ming have technology that could bring people back to life? What? I mean,
well. What if he gets executed? He's got to have
You
a
think-
backup plan.
if he got exited, there's
You're not.
obviously a coup
You
going
talked
on.
earlier.
There's
You
a
mentioned
coup. You
earlier.
think someone?
You mentioned earlier. You mentioned earlier how it was kind of a cult, right? So these are cult leader thoughts, man.
Okay, so
I don't know. I don't know what else to tell you.
Okay, if he's being executed, he's obviously being like a coup is being over. Like someone has overthrown the cult leader. They're getting rid of his body. They're not going to keep his. They're
You
gonna
don't know
destroy
that.
it. Yeah, no, you're going to destroy the body because this motherfucker.
You don't know-
You destroy the body because you got to make sure that he can't come back.
These are
to life.
aliens. These are aliens. These are
They have alien
aliens.
customs. They
These are
respect
aliens. They don't
the
know
burial.
anything about Earth or Earth customs.
I'm just saying, if cult mentality, you kill the leader, you're gonna destroy the body. Any race.
And I'm
would
just
do.
saying you're wrong because these are aliens and they don't
Any
do that.
species.
No, you don't know that.
Also, he's a villain, and you gotta be able to have.
Kangaroo
Flesh
court.
come back.
I don't want to get into bird law. So afterwards, after the execution of Flash Gordon, we see the most lavish and awesome Flash Gordon tombstone and coffin. And these really, really awesome, this is their first appearance, little snake boys. They look like snakes. They are snakes all with open mouths, and inside the mouth is where
They-
the actors'
They look like
faces
snakes, but I think they were credited as lizard men.
Oh, okay, well, they look like snakes to me.
Their eyes was in their mouth.
Their eyes was in their mouth, and also their mouth was in their mouth,
Kinda
which was
reminded
great.
me of Beetlejuice.
Yeah, a little bit. I could see that.
And they wiggle their little fingers, and they're like, They're
So
crazy.
the doctor who Princess Aurora had previously seduced revives Flash from the dead, and Aura and Flash escape Ming's castle. Meanwhile, Dr. Zarkov is having his memory wiped by Klytus. Klytus is Emperor Ming's right-hand man. He is also the leader of the secret police.
He's
for
basically
Ming.
Deathstroke from G.I. Joe.
Yeah, that's a good analogy.
But a little bit more blinging.
Yeah.
He reminded me of the one dude from Squid Games.
Oh.
Yeah, I could see that
Yeah,
too.
the
I could
gold
see
ma-
that too.
yeah,
It's kind of
the
he's
gold-
kind of a Squid Game face mask thing.
Yeah.
His mouth
Um,
can move.
Yeah, it's true. His
Oh,
his
he-
mouth
he-
does
he
move.
he put more effort into his mask. Come on.
Yeah.
So, while we have Dr. Zarkov getting his memory wiped, this is where we learn all of the backstory in Dr. Zarkov's history. Up until this point, this movie has been pretty lighthearted, fairly comedic, extremely campy. And then
main
we
hero
get
did
Dr.
die.
Zarkov getting his but
Not really.
he died within the first 10
They
15
had a
minutes of
phoenix
the
down.
film.
It's okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly,
Hey.
exactly. Thank you, Murda. So, uh,
It
when he's
actually
getting his
worked.
memory wiped, we see into his mind's eye, and this is where we can figure out that yes, Dr. Zarkov was in Nazi-controlled territory. Yes, he comes from a Jewish family, and he was forced to do terrible things. And we get this really dark sequence um, that is reminiscent of like some of the AI programs that exist today, where it's like, you know, um, you like type in something of like, oh, walk around a supermarket, and like the AI kind of like everything has a face on it, and it like morphs into a cat, or is it a dog, or is it an alligator or an owl, but it's also a human's face at the same time. And this sequence happens really fast to like this really dark synthesizer that's going on. Um, and it's just it's like really intense, kind of out of left field.
Yeah.
um However, his memory is being wiped. The
It goes all
princess
the way
and
back. Oh yeah.
yeah, oh
We're
yeah,
gonna talk about the going to the
yeah,
back to like him as like a memory, like in the fetus, the little
yeah,
fetus.
it goes
It goes
all the
like
way
full on.
back
Mm.
to
Now, what triggers him
being in
to?
utero.
What triggers him to? Are they torturing him at this moment? Isn't that what they're doing?
I would
Like that.
say
That's
being
what's triggering
conscious
his.
of I would say being conscious of losing every memory you've ever made in your life is
Getting
absolutely
slurped
torture.
out. Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
I would
okay,
say
yeah,
that is
yeah, yeah.
absolutely torture.
They're zapping his memory out of his. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Um, so while that's going on, the princess and Flash Gordon flee to Arborea, kingdom of Prince Baron. Um, this is get a couple
You
of weird scenes
mean
here.
you mean James Bond? It's not Percy Baron.
Yeah,
It's James Bond.
no,
Is it Roger
Prince
Moore?
he's Prince Baron.
Which James Bond is it?
We're going
He's the
to go
fourth.
see Prince Baron.
He's the fourth. He's the fourth James Bond.
Is that Roger Moore?
No, that's
Is it Timothy Dalton?
Yeah, Timothy
Timothy
Dalton.
Timothy Dalton.
Yeah,
Timothy
he
Dalton.
plays Prince Baron.
Gotcha.
Yeah, he's also the chief in Doom Patrol, which I did actually not realize. It like took me making like I had to double check to make sure that it was Timothy Dalton. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
And
it's
we
James
actually,
Bond.
and we'll actually have a lot of content on Bond stuff towards the end of this review.
Oh shit.
Um, so while they're fleeing in this ship, Princess Aura is teaching Flash Gordon how to pilot this ship. And is being incredibly seductive, is just all over him. Really wants to have some alone time with Gregory here. And uh, while this is going on, she sends a message to Prince Baron letting him know that they're going to arrive. Um, Flash asks her, "Well, how are you sending this message?" "Oh, it's through this, telepathy messenger," and she shows him how to use it. So he messages Dale Arden, letting her know that he's escaped with the princess. While he is having a telepathic communication with her, with Dale, Princess Aura is just rubbing all over him. And in the middle of their conversation, um, we hear, "Oh my gosh, this girl is so turning me on right now," which is like a great message to send. Um, when I was watching this, I didn't know that. Like, I just assumed Dale was like his girlfriend because they were both on this plane going somewhere. So it like made sense to me because it's like a private plane essentially. Um, and so I was like, this poor lady has to like hear that another girl is turning him on, but turns out that isn't the case, so it's fine. Um, back at Ming's castle.
I beg to differ. You can't cut queen somebody like that. That's not okay. She didn't consent to that.
No, she didn't, but they weren't dating. Like Dale and Flash are not dating. Like they first
think
meet
she
each
was
other
cared.
when they get on the plane.
Fletch was kind of like half reciprocating too. He wasn't like full on.
I'm just saying she did not consent to having to listen to him being
I'm saying
seduced.
Flash was kind of put into a. Flash was kind of put into a position where the power was kind of taken away from him. If he was like, "Ew, get off me!" Like then maybe she wouldn't want to help him escape.
Yeah, that's true. He's definitely backed into a corner, needing every ally he can get. So while we flash back to Ming's castle, Dale has been taken as a concubine of Ming and is given some type of drink to help her enjoy herself for what's going to be happening to her later in the night. It's not really specified like if this drink is just alcohol or like what this drink is. She asks them, "Will this help me forget?" No. And then their response is also, "But it will help you enjoy things more." So maybe some like aphrodisiac drink.
Yeah.
However,
That's even
before
if, like, I want to state this: we don't know what Ming looks like under those robes. He might not have anything. He's an alien. He's an alien.
yeah, that's true. We don't know what's underneath his robes.
We have not seen Ming's penis.
Yeah, there is no Ming's penis in this.
He just blue velvets you.
We do not know what his reproductive organs are. So
what we do know is that he needs a potion to get things going.
To grow a penis.
Yeah,
that's all we know.
It's later reported by one of the guards.
It's reported by Aura.
Oh, is it reported by Aura? Oh,
yes,
okay.
Because I was like, why the fuck does she know that?
Because it's his daughter. His daughter's gonna know his ins and outs.
Well, it's because I had missed the whole thing where they're implying that there's a sexual.
He's evil.
But
he's evil.
I missed the part. I was asleep. I missed it in the.
Yeah. I was a little surprised. I'm like, I would have thought you'd been a little bit more creeped out.
You accidentally
not creeped out because I didn't see it.
I just want to state that you accidentally see your parents in the shower every once in a while.
That is not
drinking their aphrodisiacs.
Their power potions.
When they use their magic weird like fucking turn on rings on you.
However, before Ming can even make it to the bedchambers that night, Dale escapes. And Zarkov, who we understand has been newly brainwashed to hail Ming, is sent to intercept her. Zarkov intercepts her and then reveals to her that he has resisted the brainwashing. And how he resisted the brainwashing was through remembering Shakespeare and remembering all of these like great prolific things of mankind. It's all very cheesy. However, he still helps her escape Ming's city and Ming's castle. Yet once they actually get outside of the city, they are quickly taken hostage by Prince Voltan's Hawkmen and brought to his domain, Sky City.
It's basically Valhalla.
Yeah, it's great.
I like the hawk. I like the main hawk guy. He goes
Yeah,
like,
yeah, Prince Voltan.
Bah!
What was
He
that,
was he was
Murdoch?
in it. I just like these people. Yeah.
Yeah, they're
Mhm.
great. They have some of the best design in the entire film.
Mhm.
Um,
They're definitely
This is
more.
this is
they're
when I woke up for
they're
the first time, I
Valkyries.
guess.
They're male Valkyries. That's what they're.
They're Birdman.
Birdman,
I
Harvey.
I totally thought they were supposed to be male Valkyries because we done established their places Valhalla. So that's what I was
Yeah,
getting
maybe
the
it's
connection
they're
from.
aliens. Maybe that's where we got the concept from. Was when they invaded.
Who knows?
um, so Aura and we flash back, or we jump back, to Aura and Flash landing on the planet or the city Arborea and witness a coming of age trial. This trial has them all chanting and like they all have these sticks and they're kind of jerking them up and down.
They're going
And
like,
it Yeah,
oh.
they're also moaning while they
This-
do it. So it does kind of seem
I'm
like a
so
circle
glad.
jerk.
I'm so glad you said this because I was totally gonna say they got to put the penis in the hole.
That would have been better.
And by penis, he of course means their hand. That is why it's a coming of age trial. They have to stick their
Okay,
hand
I-
into this log that has a deadly creature. One
These are
sting is
aliens. Their
fatal.
reproductive organ could be their hand. I want to state that.
They legit
Yeah,
put their
that's
penis
true.
in there. In there, I would give this like a god tier.
um, so Aura, who is on a hot streak of seduction, um, she also is in the act of seducing Prince Baron, and she asks him to help keep Flash safe. However, Prince Baron doesn't like her or Flash, and soon plans
Can't
for
trick
a
James Bond, man. He's
and
James Bond. What do you
yep,
expect?
yeah, it's true. Um, she's no 006.
No.
However, he soon plans for, since this is an audio media, an air quotes unfortunate accident to happen to him. He brings Flash over to the log that they were sticking their hands into, and proceeds to do the coming of age trial with Flash, but more as a deadly game, where they continually stick their hands into the stump that has the deadly stinging animal in it. Um, However, Flash tricks Baron on the third time and
Cheating
pretends that
son of
he
a
was
bitch.
stung.
I bet
Um,
he
Bear,
deflates fucking. I bet he deflates the goddamn football.
um,
I bet he kisses his son on the mouth.
so he had tricked Baron, and Baron offers him the sweet release of death instead of going mad from the sting. Um, Baron pulls out his sword, and Flash steals it and threatens Baron's life and takes Baron's sword while escaping. Baron soon follows him, and they are both captured by the Hawkmen.
Good
Yes,
riddance. That's the end.
there's a lot of escape and capture in this movie.
If only it
Yes.
ended there.
Yes.
Like
So,
a cycle of escaping and
I was.
capture.
I want to state this is right here. I checked for the time. I was feeling the length of this movie for sure by this moment.
You should have just had a nap like me. It seemed a lot shorter.
Oh, it's
All right.
nearly 2 hours.
I was fine with it.
We jump back to Princess Aura, who has returned to Ming's castle. However, she has been found out by Clytus to have been a traitor by both helping Flash survive his execution and helping him to escape Ming's clutches. She is quickly tortured for her treachery by Clytus and a new character, General Kala. General Kala is the lady holding the whip.
I wish we got more of her.
Yeah, she does some
Wasn't
cool
she?
stuff.
Didn't she whip? Wasn't there a scene with her whipping the daughter?
Yep, that's
where we're
happening
at,
right
yeah.
now.
Okay.
That's happening right now.
I told y'all. It's gonna be hard for me to get through this plot.
Mhm.
All right. So the daughter's getting whipped by General Kala. Meanwhile, Ming is making his preparations for his wedding to Dale Arden. But also, Prince Baron and Flash are being brought to Sky City, which is under the rule of Prince Voltan. Flash and Baron arrive in Sky City, only for Flash to be forced to fight Prince Baron in a death match. However,
Mortal Kombat!
Yep, and they actually they do it on this like cool little platform that's like a circle, and Prince Voltan has these controls. It can make spikes come out of the ground. It can make the platform like twist and move and
Oh,
stuff.
yeah, he was having a good time.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. Prince Voltan was loving this death match.
I don't even think this was a death match. I think he was just playing. I think he was just this is how he has fun.
And you are correct. It wasn't actually a death match because after narrowly winning, Flash instead saves Prince Baron's life, thus earning Baron's respect and support to overthrow Ming.
Would have been better if he killed Flash.
Shortly after,
Should have killed Flash and took the should have took the mantle of the movie and should have saved the day. Should have been Prince Baron.
Well, you know, if shouldas and couldas were goudas and hoodas, I don't know. Clytus arrives after this death match, and Baron and Flash working together kill him. Will someone please describe Clytus's wicked awesome death scene?
Oh yeah, he had the best death.
He just gets shoved under the spikes.
Pretty much the only notable death in the movie.
I mean, his eyes melted out of his face for sure.
Yeah.
That was my favorite. Cool. Those were my favorite fucking graphics of the whole movie.
Yeah. So it's pretty cool. Flash and Baron throw him towards the platform they had just been fighting on. There's these spikes that are coming out, and he falls directly onto the spikes. And he just kind of like, it's almost like he had seen, the Ark of the Covenant, and he just like melts, like his face like
it
melts
was that
all
sort
gnarly.
of face melting. Yeah.
And
it was great. It was good.
Guess one of those spikes ruptured something inside.
I don't know what was holding him together. The mask, I guess.
It popped his body sack and it came out of his eyes.
Ooh, I hate when that happens.
Yeah, gotta not pop those body sacks. Knowing that the death of Clytus will cause swift retribution from Ming the Merciless, Prince Voltan instructs his Hawk people to leave their Sky City. This leaves behind 4 characters: Prince Baron, Flash Gordon, Dale Arden, and Dr. Zarkov. Ming's personal ship soon arrives. Ming's men capture everyone except for Flash, and Ming offers Flash lordship as he is impressed with Flash's abilities. However, he refuses Ming's offer, and Ming orders the destruction of Sky City. Flash Gordon narrowly escapes the destruction of the city on a rocket cycle.
Iconic. That's always what we see him is on the little rocket cycle. I was waiting for the little rocket cycle.
Yep.
I like how the rocket cycle, like it has the brace that's like holding his like hips in, but to me it looks like one of those like old timey like exercise jigglers.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, the jigglers that just like has the
The
band
whole
and you
time I
turn it
just
on
like
and it just
kept
shakes you.
Yeah, I
I
just
gotta
kept
say-
imagining him on a jiggler.
The build up to this scene is not worth the payoff we get. It is.
I liked
it
this
is-
scene.
I
And it got the Queen song going again, so
yeah.
I was
I
happy.
mean, we got Queen music playing. The one Queen song.
That is
no,
very
not
incorrect.
not the one Queen song, but the one that we all associate.
Yeah.
The
most
Flash Gordon
recognizable.
theme song, the song that Freddie Mercury sings on.
I
So
just
on the
want
rocket
to-
cycle.
I guess I'll wait until we're in the background.
Well,
to
we'll wait
discuss
for
that.
it. It'll be
Wait.
addressed. It'll be addressed.
We're getting there. We're getting there.
On the rocket cycle, Flash contacts Prince Volton and they prepare plans to attack Ming's castle. To defend the city, however, General Kala dispatches the warship Ajax, which is quickly under Hawk person control.
You mean Francis?
Back again. Francis?
Yeah.
Was someone's name's Francis?
Hey. Oh my. God damn it.
Nope. Nope, sure
I don't
wasn't.
know what the goddamn hell.
Who's Francis?
Ajax. Ajax's name is Francis. Deadpool. God damn it.
Oh, okay.
I
I-
don't expect people to know that.
My comfort
No,
level with my comfort level with Deadpool is I've seen the first movie.
You should have got this reference.
And that's
then.
it.
You should have got this reference. It's
It was
in the
it was over 6 years ago.
You should have got the.
but
reference.
there's a good fight. I like the fight with this. It was fun. I like
Yeah, it
the
was
Hawkmen
great.
were storming
Let's
it.
get back on this. Let's get the Hawkman fight.
Yeah, the Hawk people quickly overtake the guards of the warship Ajax, and we hop back with the Princess Aura. She has overpowered her guards, and she frees Prince Baron and Zarkov from execution.
Oh yeah, let's talk about how useless the guards have consistently been throughout this whole movie. Like, especially the little like doggy ones, the ones
Do
that
you
she
think
just
they
like
get paid?
fucking. Mhm.
So, with the guards are notable for like 3 different things. The guards have this kind of like extended mouth nose area like on a human face, and it does make them have the appearance of either a pig or a dog or a cat underneath the mask that they're wearing, but we don't know because we never see underneath the mask. In addition to this, the guards also, these types of guards that have the extended snoot, they make this high-pitched squealing
The ones that are
whenever
dressed
they're
in
killed.
red. They
Yeah,
like
the one.
scream, squeal. It caught us off guard. That made me laugh
Yeah.
so hard.
Yeah, it was when the princess like right where we're at is like when we first hear the actual squeal, because before it sounded like they're like just like struggling to breathe or like some shit.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah, and then the last notable thing with them is that we also hear these like kind of mechanical-y-ish noises. So I'm not sure if they're like robots or if they're clones or like what they are. However, they are incredibly incompetent and incredibly weak in
Do
terms
you-
of physical strength.
Y'all are honestly. Are they getting compensated? Are you gonna get your ass kicked for somebody that doesn't pay you? No,
Well, they just getting killed.
no.
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
just dying.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
man.
yeah. If they don't do their guard duties, I'm sure that what's it called? Klytus probably just has them executed on the spot for not doing
I mean,
their guard duty.
our heroes are killing them.
Yeah, and also that's also happening.
That
In the
first
sense
one
of-
was a
I wanna
double
say-
neck stab when we got the first scream.
Yeah,
Uh,
which is
have-
pretty
That was a
great.
death knell that we heard.
Have they
Oh, yeah.
confirmed that any of these people like done anything wrong, or were they just like security guards on duty? Are they killing
I
Malkov?
think you just I feel like maybe
No,
they might be
no,
killing
they're
Mog guys.
no,
They
they are
might be
royal
killing Mog
guards.
They're
No,
royal
they're
guards.
royal
So,
guards.
so
Royal Mog
uh,
guys.
this is the equivalent of like the attacking still again it's the equivalent to mall cops. You ain't gonna hire
Or maybe
no
like child
fucking-
soldiers.
I don't.
You're
I
gonna
can.
go
I can like
cheat,
really
and I'm
strongly.
hiring
I
the
can really
peasants.
strongly argue against that. But I'm gonna move on anyways.
Yes.
We jump back to Flash and the Hawk people, and they are attacking the city and castle in their commandeered Ajax warship.
Francis.
General Kala activates the defenses as Ming and Dale's wedding commence.
Dun dun dun.
Yes, the bridal march from Earth is featured in this wedding.
I guess it's it's universal.
Hey, you know,
It just everyone knows that as the wedding march.
I'm gonna
Even
I'm
these
gonna
aliens.
I'm gonna give them a pass. Rita Repulsa and Lord Zed was using Jewish Hebrew wedding music at their wedding, so
Now that's thinking with your morphin powers.
Oh yeah.
She activates the defenses in the form of a lightning barrier, and it can only be broken by a ship flying as fast as possible into it. The Hawk people leave the ship Ajax. However, Flash
Francis.
stays behind and volunteers for this unaliving mission.
Ooh.
So he's planning to crash the Ajax into the city.
Francis.
Yep.
Mhm.
Baron and Zarkov enter the control room where General Kala is operating the castle's defenses. And we get some really cool powers out of General Kala. However, like most really awesome people, she is shot down by Baron.
And she
Real quick,
melts
too.
into black goo.
Yeah, and she melts into black goo. Before she's all gooified, she sees Zarkov and Baron, whips around and just like shoots a flamethrower out of her hand. And like she's not wearing like any type of like hand like flamethrower thing. This isn't a Mandalorian. This is just fires coming out of her palm.
We've
And she
established
got
that.
magic
it was
shit.
great.
Yeah, she's probably casting fireball.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Um,
I wish it was a longer fight with it.
Yeah,
I
because
guess
she
so.
does that one move and then is immediately shot down.
Yeah.
So what we get of General Kala is she whips the princess, she operates the control tower defenses, and she shoots a flamethrower, and then we get no more of her. And it's sad because I would have liked to have seen her in an actual like long fight.
Kind of what
However,
happened to Boba Fett.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. Oh, and it's weird how it's almost exactly in that same way. But we'll talk about that here in just a moment. After fighting through more and more guards, Prince Baron deactivates the lightning field right before Flash can crash through it, thus allowing Flash to fly the ship into the city's wedding hall, where he impales Ming on the pointy edge of the Francis.
That was a pretty good scene.
Yeah, no, it was a great scene. It was.
You didn't have
it
to
was
stop.
great.
I was just putting that out there. It's like, oh yeah, there you go.
It's really cool that like Ming gets impaled too. Just because the visual spectacle of that is just like it's it's very powerful of the way that it is. It's really great. That alone to me makes the movie worth it.
Mhm.
Flash, after being impaled, Flash offers to spare Ming's life as the impaling did not quite kill him, but only if he stops the assault on Earth. Ming refuses, and he tries to use the power ring on Flash, but it fails. He then points the ring at himself and is seemingly vaporized, although he is definitely hiding in the ring.
So was
Oh,
he
yeah,
gonna kill Flash with the
He
ring,
hopped
or
in that
was he
ring.
trying to trap Flash into the ring? What was he doing with that?
I think he was
Um,
trying to freeze Flash so that he could unalive him.
Oh,
Mhm.
buddy. You can say kill.
Yeah.
We can say kill.
Okay. Cool.
in
Um,
We're
that's right. Um, a
discussing the
victory
plot
cel-
of a movie. It's warm.
It's true. A victory celebration ensues. Ming's rule is finished. Prince Baron and Princess Aura become the new leaders of Planet Mongo. Volton is named commander of their armies. Zarkov, Flash, and Dale discuss returning home, though they have no solid plan to do so. And an unseen person picks up Ming's ring, and Ming's evil laugh is heard shortly after. And then we go back to Flash, and he does the most iconic move. He jumps up straight towards the camera, and we get the end? Question mark.
They cracked me up
is there a
when they
sequel to
did the little
this?
freeze frame.
Is
No.
is
We'll get into it.
Oh,
think that
We're gonna get
is
into
So
there a sequel?
before we jump into the background and the production and all that kind of stuff, how does everyone feel so far?
I feel like I missed some cool stuff. I totally missed the background of Dr. Zarkov, his memories. Didn't see any of that.
Oh
Which
yeah, we,
that-
we didn't really mention that he resisted the
Nope.
brainwashing and helped.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
mentioned that.
We mentioned
Yeah, we
that.
did.
Okay,
We,
I'm
we,
not
did.
sure.
we just didn't get into
Okay.
it because it's a eh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I
look
think
at
a lot
that.
of my confusion was probably dozing off during some
I mean, it's fine. The
explanation.
It's not like the
Right.
brainwashing was like a prevalent plot point because it was thrown out the window like 2 scenes later.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
it would have been better for
kinda
him to
wanted
betray him
see-
once.
I wanted
so-
to see that like those memories or whatever.
Yeah,
Oh,
it
yeah,
was
that's a cool
pretty.
part.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool scene. It's really like out of nowhere, like super dark. So with the plot, going through it kind of step by step like this, like two things like majorly of note. We have people like, are they on Ming's side? Are they not on Ming's side? Pretty consistently for almost every single character, with the exclusion of Zarkov, Dale, and Flash himself. Good old Gregory. All of these people are like done with Ming's rule pretty much, but like everyone's kind of too afraid to say it until Flash, as an agent of change, kind of makes everyone make up their minds for him.
I think Emperor Ming has been rolling out of fear for like all his tyrannical rule. So it
absolutely he is
I mean,
he is
you
known
wanna
in the
do
film as
something-
Ming the Merciless.
But you want to do something, but sometimes you just, unfortunately, you're not the one with the gun.
Right,
Yeah.
and that's exactly right. We saw Ming destroy. We didn't see Ming destroy the leader who he murdered in the very beginning, where we first meet Ming. We don't see their place destroyed, but we know that it is. We also see Ming, pretty casually destroy Sky City, and so we really only see in total 4 groups, including Ming. So we got Ming, the beginning people, and then the Hawk people and the Arborian people. And of those, 3 of the 4 get destroyed. So don't be merciless out there, people. Show some kindness and compassion. The other like major thing with this film, and I think it lends itself well to the campiness that's involved, is we get, here's the scene, here's this action sequence that's happening, then we flash back to like, okay, and then here's what this character's doing, then we flash back and then there's this character that's happening, then we go back and it's this other character that's happening, and even being fully awake and like actively engaged, it's like the narrative is confusing. Other than like, oh, okay, we're get like eventually like, yeah, Ming's gonna get confronted.
I I'm not
Short of that, like, there's not much.
I never had an issue
I want to
following
stay.
it.
I'm not confused by the plot. It just they could have shortened this. They could have shortened a lot of scenes. I mean, a lot of scenes. Like,
Yeah,
there's a lot of silence that doesn't need to be there. Like, they're not ever, when there is silence, it's never like being used on purpose. It's just because they've prolonged a staring scene for far too long, or the one scene fucking on the scooter. And maybe it was just like the version I was watching, but there was an awkward little moment of like not real silent, but the audio mix was really bad, and the music got real quiet when they like did the back shot of Flash Gordon on the
absolutely
on the rocket, whatever you want to call it,
the rocket cycle.
Yeah, rocket cycle. Even though it's not a cycle.
Yeah, the mixing wasn't
It's a
good on
rocket
our
cycle.
end either.
Yeah, the mixing for this film is done pretty poorly, and we'll actually get into why it's kind of like that there, Smokey. Before we do, however, some background. This film was released in 1980, and it's based on the 1930s comics. Upon release, it did really well in the UK and Italy. However, it did poorly everywhere else. It had a budget of $20 to $27 million, and between the U.S. and the United Kingdom, it only made $46 million. So it made its money back and then some. However, it wasn't like by the public, it wasn't received very well. However, critical reception.
I got a question.
Okay, what's up?
How was this market? Was this marketed as a Queen movie? Like, did they market this as Queen rock ballad kind of situation? I will understand if that's how they market it, why people didn't like it. Because, oh, you're telling me I'm going to see a movie that Queen did the soundtrack in, and that's all the fucking Queen.
And then and then the sad thing is you get like 85% of the music in this film done by members of Queen, so it's really weird like that. Critical reception, however, continues to be generally really positive about this film, and this film also has a massive cult status since its released. It was also primarily filmed in Britain, with some sections shot in Scotland. The way that they marketed this was a mixture of both Queen and also just Flash Gordon. Keep in mind, this is 1980. The serials of Flash Gordon ran in the comic originally ran from 36 to 40. And then there was a televised adaptation of Flash Gordon, which ran all throughout the 50s up until the mid 60s.
Was it live action?
So did
everybody reprise their like were everybody from the TV show coming back for this movie?
No.
Oh.
So the characters wouldn't be the same age, because between 1950 and 1960, going to
I'm saying it now. It doesn't, like, you still can do the roles.
I don't understand your take on that, but okay. 20 years
later.
That
might be a little bit of a nitpick there.
You should have got the original cast for the TV show. I guess
it's 20 years later, though.
I guess I'm in the I guess I'm in a weird nitpick corner, but I'm dying on this hill.
I think you're in a weird nitpick corner, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if that's the hill that you want to die on,
there are better hills to die on.
There are. The
music.
So during the plot of this film, you had mentioned what's it called? Timothy Dalton, right?
Yes. James Bond.
So there's actually a really strong connection between um, both Batman and James Bond, and its incredible cheesiness, because this film was written by Lorenzo Semple Jr., who wrote all of the 1960s Batman TV series with Adam West.
Fuck yeah.
Semple would also, after this film, go on to write the script for the unofficial Bond movie Never Say Never Again. While Semple was writing Flash Gordon, he wanted to actually have a more serious, gritty take on Flash Gordon. However, he was pressured into adding more and more comedy by the producer, Dino De Laurentiis.
It definitely shows.
Dino De Laurentiis also produced Barbarella. The both
they should
bad.
have listened to him. He did that a disservice. I think this would have been better if it kept a serious tone.
Absolutely, and we'll get into that as well. However, with De Laurentiis, he actually owns the rights to Flash Gordon, and we'll talk about that here in just a little bit. The both bad and excellent sets and costumes were designed by Danilo. Huh?
That's probably Spooge.
The both bad and excellent sets and costumes were designed by Danilo Donati, who's a Italian crew member. Flash Gordon also contains many actors that would go on to have some involvement with the Bond series. Timothy Dalton, which is Prince Baron, which is the Swamp Planet, the Green Guy. He'd go on to play James Bond. Emperor Ming, or Ming the Merciless, which is played by Max von Sydow, would star as Blofeld in Never Say Never Again. Blofeld, that villain, is what Dr. Evil is parodying, with the cat in the gray suit. And Topol, who has a mono name like Cher, played Dr. Zarkov, would later play Columbo in For Your Eyes Only. So of like four major people all involved with different Bond stuff. So this film actually has quite a lot of Bond people or future Bond people in it.
I don't understand why they involve themselves with this. I'm sorry. Like whoever read this script and was like, "Yep, this is the one I want to do," they must have been hankering for some money, because this is.
I'd do it. As soon as I saw the costumes, they'd be like, "I'm in."
I mean, I'd also do it, but then it seemed like maybe they started with a more serious script and then kind of got bait and switched a bit when there were disagreements.
Yeah.
The sets, it seems like the sets was a pain in the ass to have to deal with. And though I do like the Lizardman costumes, that must have been a real bitch to have to fucking be in that. Like,
oh yeah, I'm sure it was hot and
hours.
Obnoxious.
Mm-hmm. So hey, that's the way of the kaiju.
It's exactly.
Yep.
It's the craft. They put their blood, sweat, and tears into this. Just for I don't know I don't know if we can blame just one particular person. That the editing's not great, the story's not good, most of the acting's kind of meh. But I don't know if that's because of the actors or because of the director. It's like
it's a lot of things actually.
The final product, I want to say, came out like a wet fart, and it's not great. It's definitely not great.
Save it for the final thoughts.
And you're definitely entitled to that opinion. So George Lucas originally wanted to make this film. He wanted to make a space opera about Flash Gordon to revitalize the genre, and he was a big fan of the serials that ran from 1936 to 1940. However, the producer, Tino De Laurentiis, who's quickly going to become the production villain, um, held the rights of Flash Gordon. Dino De Laurentiis did have a couple of different meetings with George Lucas, but he denied him every time. So George set out to make his own space opera, which is Star Wars. So without without this film, we don't get a Star Wars. Without the path that this film walked, we don't get a Star Wars.
Well, that also tells
Star
me
Wars
that
came out before this, though, right?
Well, that's what I was about to say. That also
This
tells me
movie
that this movie was in production for years, or had to be.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
this
yeah,
film
yeah.
was in
Because yes,
production for like 4
Star
years.
Wars did come out before this movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's accurate.
I gotta.
However,
gotta
the
save it for
creation
final
of
thoughts.
the creation of Star Wars actually did breathe life into the genre, and it kind of forced De Laurentiis's hand to actually want to make this film. So this movie was like stuck in pre-production for quite some time. Because of De Laurentiis's like, do I want to do this? Do I not want to do this? And then when De Laurentiis saw George Lucas's success with Star Wars, he was like, oh well, okay, then I can do this and I'll make money off of it, essentially. So George Lucas playing a fairly large role in like why this movie got created.
Was George Lucas in the production of this movie at all?
No, he was
involved?
not anywhere near
They
this
should
movie.
have. That's why. That's
It
why.
would have been more successful if they let him.
See, then we got a full blueprint of like how that ring worked, like full booklets and.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it would have been so much better. I mean, he would have.
Yeah,
He would have done
totally.
it justice, but if we didn't, I guess if he did this, we wouldn't have got Star Wars. And to be honest, if I have to compare the final products of Star Wars and this, I much rather have Star Wars.
Oh, of course.
Yeah,
Right,
definitely. However, this movie's, as you're going to see here, is kind of plagued by De Laurentiis. So to find the titular
Did he even
character,
want this made? Like it seems like he didn't want
yes,
this made, and he was trying to,
I just
destroy
explained why. Yes, yes. So the reason he wanted to make this is because he saw George's success with Star Wars. And that success drove him to take the movie out of pre-production, start filming, and actually get it out.
But it seems like at every turn, like when someone's trying to produce to try to make the movie, he comes in and goes, "How about you do it the wrong way?" I mean, that he's always come. He's like you said, he's been the villain of like the whole production of the.
Well, we haven't even got into like what makes him the villain, other than like he denied George Lucas. Yeah. It's not inaccurate. However, you'll find out why. To find the titular character of Gregory Flash Gordon, they wanted a young blonde man in good shape. De Laurentiis really, really wanted Kurt Russell. But Kurt Russell turned him down because he did not like the slapstick style of comedy that was being pigeonholed into the script.
Was Arnold Schwarzenegger, was he active at this point in time? I don't know when his career started. My apologies.
Going on. Oh no, it's okay. Going on. Arnold Schwarzenegger actually.
Just listen.
Yeah.
So Arnold Schwarzenegger actually approached De Laurentiis a couple of occasions, expressing a pretty big want to play Flash. However, De Laurentiis turned him down because of his Austrian accent.
Stupid son of a bitch. You stupid son of a bitch. He's perfect.
This would have been so much better, even with the slapstick and everything. This would have been so much better.
This movie would have been better with either Kurt Russell or Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Definitely totally.
I like that Kurt Russell read the script and see Kurt Russell. He agrees with you, Smokey. You looked at the script and was like, nah.
He said no.
Exactly. But with Arnold Schwarzenegger, I totally see him seeing the script.
This is in Arnold Schwarzenegger's wheelhouse, man.
Yes, I mean,
yeah.
You like that guy's stupid. He's a stupid son of a bitch.
He does. He makes a lot of poor decisions for this movie.
Yeah, he does. So finally, Sam J. Jones was found by De Laurentiis personally, and how De Laurentiis found him was through a dating show that De Laurentiis happened to be watching. Jones had almost no acting experience when he was cast as Flash Gordon. The only experience that he had in that realm was
Power
being
Rangers
a playgirl.
Better than him. And then saying something.
Depends on which ones.
Yeah. I mean, you got to be really specific with that because yes to some, but no to like most.
Which power? You're gonna have to suggest which Power Ranger he's better than. I'm gonna need an example.
Any of the ones that were not Tommy in this one that we watched recently.
I'm gonna call that as blasphemy because they are so much better. They've had years of. Let's move on.
They've had years of unpaid acting. However, Jones had almost no acting experience when he was cast as Flash Gordon. But he was a Playgirl model. And when he went onto the dating game show, that's when De Laurentiis found his Flash. Jones went hard in this role, and he did everything he could to his ability to make this work. He did almost all of his own stunts. He also dyed his hair blonde, and he was even going to wear color corrective contacts to make his eyes blue, but he couldn't suffer that. And now we get into reasons why we have.
I want to state right now, out of all the fucking characters, Flash Gordon was by far my least favorite, and he's the main protagonist. I
some
get
good explanation for like why his acting sucked.
Yes,
that we haven't gotten to yet either.
I mean, he just kind of explained that he was from a dating show and had no acting experience.
Well, basically,
the biggest problem, Playgirl model.
The biggest problem is his voice in the movie is not his own.
Yep, and that's a big part of it.
But I'm not even just talking about the delivery of his lines or anything. I'm talking about like just his general presence. I did not. I didn't like how he presented himself. He wasn't Flash Gordon. He was not Flash. Every time I was like, who is this cosplayer, and why did somebody let him on set?
Yeah, and so actually, one of the main reasons why we have that is that the crew was split in half. Half of the crew was Italian, and the other half of the crew was British and Americans. Due to the split, there was a lot of miscommunication between like what the crew was trying to get the actors to do. And unfortunately, actors were often stuck in the middle of the arguments between the Italian crew and the British American crew. So pretty much every scene in this movie, the actors are not sure what they should be doing for each scene. That's why we have those like weird random stares. That's why we have these like weird deliveries. Like a lot of it, like
Prince
Volton's like delivery is like, he's like got this like gusto and all this stuff, but then he's got these like serious lines that he delivers like with a smile. And because of the crew being split and the miscommunication going on with the crew, it it kind of got pretty divisive, and there's like more division going up the chain, like pretty much like actors and crew. So the Italian crew were told that the film was supposed to be dark, gritty, and realistic, and the British and American crew were told and were setting out to make a slapstick, amp cranked to 11 campy comedy. And we can see the clear division within this film of those two ideologies with the death of Clytus, which is dark, graphic, and kind of out of nowhere. And we also get, like, just as examples, the scene of Dr. Zarkov's memory being erased is really dark and graphic. And, like, if this film had been taken more seriously, that would have, like, really set the stage for Zarkov's character growth. The crew was actually so lost that when Flash does his like famous jump towards the camera, that was actually improvised because neither the crew nor any of the cast could ever agree on how to actually end the film. So he just did that, and they stuck with it. However,
good on him. I like that.
However, it's now iconic across comedy films. You'll see it all the time, especially in comedy films after this came out. You see that like jump at the very end, and like that stop frame of them in midair. That's straight from this. That is from Flash Gordon, 1980.
It wasn't before.
Nope.
I wouldn't have been able to tell you a movie that was before this that did it, so it gets
nope, it wasn't before. They started it.
But is that all the production stuff?
Nope.
I feel some stuff are missing.
Yep, and we're probably getting to one of the points that you'd like to get to.
Yes.
This was one of the first big budget films ever to be scored by a rock band. Queen's score of this film is widely considered to be superb, although I know that you disagree with that, Smokey. However,
score? How many songs do we get? How many songs can you tell me definitively without fucking with me? Because I know you like fucking with me. How many songs did we actually get Starfish from Queen? How many?
Give me just 1 second.
Because I feel we get 3
we
max.
get... Nope, that's incorrect. We get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We get 18 songs from Queen.
And they're in this movie.
Yes.
They are not.
The mixing is
no,
not great.
You're thinking of Queen as only with Freddie Mercury vocals. We don't get more with Freddie Mercury vocals, but they still do the music.
I guess
the reason
I guess I'm mad.
Why?
I guess I'm mad I don't get more Freddie Mercury.
I understand and agree
agreed.
with that. I understand and agree with that. But that being said, the music still is done by Queen. I want more Freddie Mercury. Yes.
They did Queen very disjustice with this because it does not sound like 18 songs. It's very repetitious. They barely like use 2 or 3 parts of some of instrumentals.
To me, I think there's so much going on in this movie,
and the audio mix doesn't do it justice.
Yeah,
either.
exactly. There's
No,
so much going on that a lot of the music just goes under the radar. You don't even notice it.
Yep, and so something, and I know that, based on what I'm hearing so far, I know we haven't got to final thoughts or anything, but if you're ever super bored, I would invite you to go back and rewatch this film, and pay attention to only the music of it, because like 85% of this film is guitars, synthesizers, synthesizers, and drums. And
you
that
can
is
also
all
just
performed
listen
by
to the
members of Queen.
soundtrack.
Yeah, you could listen to the soundtrack too.
That'd be cool. But I gotta hear it. in the movie because I got to experience like in the movie.
Well,
But
here's
yeah,
what you
it's
do.
more.
Here's what you do. You listen to the soundtrack first, and you go back to the movie and try to place these songs in the movie.
But I understand it's not like as apparent as like America and the
In
Last
the Last
Unicorn or
Unicorn.
yeah.
Correct.
Um, so even though Queen, they scored this and it's generally considered super positive, the soundtrack that they did provide. Pink Floyd was originally considered to make the music for this film.
I'm glad he did.
Pink Floyd would have probably made the film
Fuck you.
into a surreal film.
I like Pink Floyd. He wouldn't. Him and Flash Gordon, Pink Floyd and Flash Gordon don't gel well.
Well, what I think is Pink Floyd should have done the version that was the serious version.
Maybe,
Absolutely.
okay,
And then
yes,
the Queen
yeah.
could have done the version that was this light campy version.
I
Yep.
definitely could agree with that.
But since there was only one movie and it was so mixed, I mean,
Pink Floyd would not have done this movie.
this specific movie.
He would not have done the vibe well.
I got you.
Come on now, Godly.
No, I
love
do.
Pink
I
Floyd.
understand. I get that. I think Pink Floyd would have been better suited if they had stuck with a more serious movie.
I just assumed you didn't like Pink Floyd.
No, I fucking love Pink Floyd. It's like one of the first acid trips I had was watching The Wall.
Gotcha. I just would assume because how long their songs
with Queen actually doing this, Pink Floyd is who De Laurentiis wanted to do the music for this film, but the production team kind of had a different idea and maybe a more accurate idea of like what this film would be when it was finished. De Laurentiis didn't even know who Queen was or that they were even being considered. When asked from the production team if De Laurentiis would consider Queen when they looped him in after they had already done it, De Laurentiis said, "Who is the Queens?" So, and that's like a direct quote.
I don't like. What world is this dude living in?
Yeah.
And he knew. He was just being.
He was
he didn't want them.
He was the boomer of his time.
He probably had a band in mind, and he kind of probably already assumed that they already did the music, and he was pissed, so he did a jab. I'm calling it now.
Yeah, and I mean, at this point in
like
time, Queen was fairly prolific at this point in time. You know, they had been around since what, 1972, 73,
Yeah,
1970 zero with a zero. So they've been
1980s.
around for 10 years. However, so with this production meeting team, Queen had a meeting with them. And the band got to see 20 minutes of the movie, and everyone in the band instantly loved it. They loved how silly it was, and they immediately wanted to provide the score of the music. Thus, Queen would go on to record one of the most memorable themes in all of pop culture, the Flash theme.
This movie would be fun on coke.
I
just assume that's.
I mean,
I just assume they're on coke.
Yeah, I'm sure they all are.
This would be a fun trip. I don't know. I think I would be a bit annoyed.
Could have been in the background, I think.
Yeah, the backgrounds and stuff maybe. That's why I'm on the fence because I mean,
it'd be cool to look at if nothing else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the only music in this film that is not composed and created by film are any of the orchestral sections, of which there is not much. The orchestral sections were handled by Howard Blake. And I know we already kind of harped on that for a while, so we'll move on from there unless there's any questions.
I was just trying to formulate the right, it wasn't bad. I mean, he did what the orchestra. What I'm fucking the word up because I can't formulate.
Orchestral.
Orchestral. Yeah, fucking it. I mean, they served its purpose.
Equestrian.
Yeah. So anytime you hear like violins and stuff like that, that's all Howard Blake.
Yeah,
However, if you're
it
not
served
hearing
its
violins,
purpose.
if you're just hearing synthesizer, that is Queen. More with the production of this. There was meant to be 2 sequels after this film. It was supposed to be a trilogy of Flash Gordon. Although starting a franchise is now commonplace with debut films, in 1980 it wasn't something that really happened. Sam J. Jones
I don't think it would
was
happen if this came out today either. This was
not like
this. Is not a
this.
franchise. It's
Not if this specific movie came out.
They try though today.
Oh yeah, they try.
One of the reasons why Sam J. Jones went under contract was that he was supposed to play the title character in all 3 films. However, after the poor performance of this film, the 2 sequels were tossed out of production, and this one even ends with that sequel setup with the end question mark. Sam J. Jones would go on to sue Dino De Laurentiis for not fulfilling his contract. Jones would return to reprise his role as Flash Gordon 32 years later in the Ted movies. So anytime Flash Gordon is in that movie Ted, that is the actual Flash Gordon. That is Sam J. Jones.
The Seth MacFarlane movies?
Yep, the Seth MacFarlane movies.
They do coke with him.
So are you? So what you're telling? What I'm hearing is the actor Flash Gordon, years later,
32 years.
He had the balls to play that. See. Yeah,
in Ted.
It's still he had the balls to fucking play.
He's not an actor, so he was in an awesome like trippy ass like '80s movie, and he like before that he was just like a Playgirl model. So yeah, of course he's fucking proud of that shit. I'd be if I just showed up in that shit.
I'm saying the original Flash Gordon should have did it. Should have did the role. But hey, I guess I'm still in the nitpick corner.
Get that Florida leather.
Yeah, I mean the Flash. If you mean from like the TV series in the 50s and 60s, I mean I'm pretty sure he's dead. Like without looking it up, I'm pretty sure he probably died prior to the Ted films coming out.
He'd be in his 50s, maybe in like the 80s.
Was he dead before the Flash Gordon film movie came out?
At least.
Probably not. But he's probably
they should have got him to reprise.
Well, no, because Flash Gordon's not old. Sam J. Jones, he actually walked out on this movie.
That is some elder hate, man.
Well, that's just Flash Gordon's not an old man.
I'm gonna say this now, old folks, you can be Flash Gordon if you want to. Who the fuck cares?
Sure. No one's saying you can't.
I'm not saying they can. I'm just saying for this film.
Go watch Irishman and see what happens. See what you get.
You probably can't in a $1 million movie. But you can do it anytime you want.
Yeah. So Sam J. Jones actually walked out on this film. The production of this film was incredibly filled with issues, as we're finding out here. The communication barriers, and there were many last-minute changes and poor direction. De Laurentiis and Jones never saw eye to eye on anything, and they frequently just fought and argued on set. There was even an altercation between them during the filming, where Jones ended up having to go to the hospital for a cut on his face. This prompted De Laurentiis following him close behind to make sure that there wasn't going to be any scarring on his Flash Gordon's face.
Better be glad it wasn't Werner Herzog. He would have pulled out the gun.
This bad blood between them ensured that Sam J. Jones did not return post-production to dub his character. And for a really long time, no one knew who actually dubbed his voice. However, in recent years, the actor has come out, and that is Peter Marinker. He had stepped in to voice
What
Flash
is
Gordon post production.
did he do anything we would recognize him in anything?
I don't think so because I think that he was just probably like a cheap extra. But I will double check that for
Let's
you.
check this.
I mean,
See if he does any more dubbing for like maybe some foreign films.
Yeah, he does. He was in 1995's Judge Dredd.
Okay.
Nice.
Looks like he does a lot of voice work for kids' movies.
Yeah, he does mainly kids stuff. Looks like.
He was in Event Horizon.
Huh.
That's not a kids' movie.
No, it's
no,
it's
not.
not.
That is definitely not.
Unless you're a real cool kid.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure some kids watched it and they shouldn't have.
However, Peter Marinker is not credited in this film. He just kind of did it, and that was it. As far as this film goes.
I get being credited is a big deal and all, but do you really want the credit for this? I mean, is it a bump on your record to go, hey, I did the voice for Flash Gordon? I don't think so.
And
that
pretty much
can be impressed.
No, definitely not. And that pretty much covers all of the production stuff with this film and background. There is a deleted scene. If people want to know about that, I'll let the group decide.
I mean, what's the deleted scene? You can't just say there's a deleted scene and not say what the scene is. Come on.
Is it sexually aggressive?
No. Well, kinda, I guess. There's a deleted scene where Emperor Ming tricks Flash into thinking that Dale is actually a giant spider that he has to fight. And it had been in the script the entire time during filming until they actually started shooting that specific scene. And then the crew kind of all simultaneously realized that this had absolutely nothing to do with the narrative or like any character development, so they just decided to scrap it.
Cowards.
You gotta have a giant spider. you know from that producer.
Giant spiders rarely ever work in movies.
It wouldn't have added to the movie, but it would have definitely been a better movie if they had.
It would have camped it up.
Oh yeah.
It would have camped it up even more, which I didn't think was possible. But all right, that's
cool.
That is Flash Gordon. We can move on to the final thoughts and all that kind of stuff now.
Yeah. Who wants to go first? I mean, can be anybody.
I think Spooge has the most positive view on this film. Let's let him go first.
Oh, I guess yeah. I guess technically this would be like if I just had to like go with like the story and the overall, in general, would be like a 3. But the costumes, the drippiness is awesome. I fell in love with like the sex, like the psychedelic backgrounds. Those really brought me in, and I love just kind of like a campy. Like I didn't like the story wasn't hard. It did kind of just ring true to like if I was like watching a Doctor Who or something like that.
Yeah, like the early Who's.
It was just like it was kind of like bullshit, turn off your mind, sci-fi, fun.
Yeah.
I found I thought I mean even though it was there's some creepy dynamics with him, I thought Ming made a really good like campy like evil, just like unapologetically evil villain. Kind of like his whole thing, his whole style with beard and shit. The Lizardmen definitely gave it like a full half point.
Boys.
I love those guys. I love that they're in the background pretty consistently. They would just show up and it'd be like, oh, wiggling their fingers around and be like,
yeah, that's great. I love that
so
shit.
Yeah, I definitely like watch this again. Like, I definitely would want to like kind of be tripping watching this again. So that's why it is a 4 for me.
Nice.
So I guess I'll go. I was having trouble landing on a rating. I'm between a 2.5 and 3. I mean, we stated all the very obvious issues with this movie. this movie doesn't really know what it is.
No.
And now we know why. How it makes sense that it doesn't know what it is, because people were fighting about that the whole production. I do like the set designs. I like the costume designs, even though they look very cheap. It was kind of hard because I'm like, man, they look cheap. Like, it kind of bothered me.
Spirit Halloween sale.
That Spirit Halloween sale, it just kind of bothered me. I feel like, is it fair that I fell asleep for a good 20, 30 minutes of this movie?
I think so. I think so.
I mean, it wasn't because of the movie. But did I miss things that, could have boosted my rating from a 2.5? I don't know.
Yeah.
I will say I felt the same way that Smokey did about the music until that was explained to me, because I went in. I mean, when people hear about this movie, they hear about, Queen did the music. So I was expecting, yes, I was expecting many songs of Freddie Mercury led vocals, which we did not get. So that made me question, wait, I thought Queen did the music, and then it was explained to me that they did. So that makes me feel better. I still want more Freddie Mercury for sure, but I can go back and listen to the soundtrack and, kind of hone in my judgment a little bit more, because like we said, I mean, the music in the film itself was hard to hear. Which is unfortunate.
Well.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, because that's, such a cool aspect of the film. So that should have been like a real feature, like I thought it would be. But I think I will do what I suggested. I will go listen to the soundtrack, and I think I will rewatch this movie, or at least parts of this movie. For sure, the parts that I missed. So with that being said, I think, in spirit of this movie's the end ? I am going to give this a 3 ?
Lying bitch.
Okay.
Nice.
Do you want me to put the question mark physically on the rating?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, do it. That's great. I'll go next. So for me, as Spooge and Murda had said, the sets and costumes just really does it for me. It just it like simultaneously like screams at me like opulence and also like trash at the same time, and I really like that vibe. For me, this film is one of those films that is, it starts off and like you're not really sure. This was my first time viewing it, which is kind of crazy for those that know me, because I really enjoy quite a lot of different sci-fi stuff. But it being my first time watching it, I was like, oh, this is kind of bad. It's kind of bad, kind of getting worse. And it actually, for me, does the full U-turn and like becomes so bad that it starts to get good again. Like especially like pretty much after like Princess Aura and Flash like are escaping Ming's castle, like I was hooked, and I wanted to see like what they're gonna pull out of their butts to like make this work. So for me, it kind of does that U-turn. The Snake Boys are the absolute best background characters ever that like I've ever seen. They're always depicted in like jail cells, like and like, or they're just like randomly like sprinkled throughout these crowds. They're never mentioned.
Skittering and hiding.
Yeah, they're never mentioned. They're never talked about. It's just accepted that like wherever you are on planet Mongo, there will be Snake Boys somewhere around.
They might be the indigenous race of Mongo.
Yeah, I don't know. I would love to.
That
know
are like
that.
treated like rats, I think, almost, because they seem to just be kind of like infesting around And unless they're like captured.
Yeah, pretty much. I will also say, this film is incredibly campy and incredibly cheesy. If this is your first time like trying a new cheese, this cheese is a blue cheese. This cheese is stinky. It's strong, but it's also incredibly vibrant. Um, and for me, it was an overall pretty fun ride. Um, the climactic battle scene at the end when they're actually disrupting the wedding and flashes in the Ajax Francis, with the guitars going and the synthesizers going, all being played by members of Queen, is just really fitting for me and like just such a fun like action sequence up until Ming uh, gets impaled by the ship. Um, I would recommend this to fans of quote unquote bad movies to check it out, but only if they've never seen it before. Like, if it comes up in conversation, like, oh yeah, if you like bad films for the sake of bad films, like, you should definitely check this one out. So for me, it's a solid 3.5.
Nice.
All right. Now it's left.
Now for you.
I definitely have the most negative as look on this the movie, and it's I mean it's hard to it's like it's the plot. There's nothing in this movie that makes me disconnect. That is the main issue that I have. The plot is it's terrible. It's nonsense. Nobody really does anything worth any merit. It's just like they do stuff for the sake of it. There's no hero's journey here. That is for sure. No, Ming doesn't nord anybody, so he's a terrible villain.
No boys were Norded.
No,
Maybe a snake boy.
Maybe I guess you could say he norded. What's the dude that said undying loyalty? I guess you could say that. But all I really enjoyed was the sets. I love the costumes, though I can say they are cheap, very cheap. But I love Power Rangers, and Power Rangers budget is literally zero. So when it comes to cheap looking stuff, I totally can give that a pass. So it's the acting was, and I'm not just talking about like the line delivery, even though the line deliveries was not great, even for the voice work that we have. It's actually very terrible, and it explains a lot why why everything seems so disconnected from itself.
Oh yeah, with the two different like crews with a huge language barrier. Yeah.
So it's just I was told several times by several reviews that I watched before going into this movie that I would love Queen, that Queen is like the best part of the movie, but with how it's edited, with how the audio is mixed and everything, the music, though it is amazing, is very like hampered by the audio mix. It's not great. It just takes me. I was completely taken out of the movie, and nothing drew me back in once I was taken out. It just I was contemplating on a Jeff Goldblum. It's not a Jeff Goldblum. I think.
Yay, success.
I think if we were in the movie theaters, I'd be like, just because I'm gonna give it just because Starfish. I'm not gonna give Starfish's first pick a Jeff Goldblum. If we went to the movie theaters, I at least enjoyed my time with my friends watching it.
Yeah, if we group watched at a movie theater, We'd have fun.
Yeah,
It
be a
definitely
laugh fest.
I would. So it's not like I would be able to rewatch it with people. I wouldn't be able to rewatch it on my own. That is for sure. The editing process of this review is going to be a fucking nightmare for me. But other than that, I think I got to give it a 2. I have to give it a solid 2.
Oh, that's higher than I thought you'd give it.
Yay!
I don't hate it, but I definitely dislike it. But yeah, that's it.
Yay!
Can get into the do the outro? Hey.
Yeah. Sorry.
You got something to add before
Any
we
last
do the
thoughts?
outro?
No, I just had a catchphrase, but I think you do that at the end.
That's part of the outro. Hey. So, if you've been listening this long, thank you so much. Please like, comment, and share the video around. We really appreciate all the new viewers we've been getting. Fucking subscribe to the channel, please, if you will. And turn on that notification bell. Does anybody have a sign-off?
I do. Bring me the boar worms. No, not the boar worms.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
We thought they said ball. Yeah, we'd definitely be using that pig squeal.
Oh, something happened and the audio got cut.
Oh no.
My audio?
Yeah, it was during Spooge. I don't know. Like everybody got cut for some reason.
Are we still recording?
Yes, we're still recording, but for some reason
Can they hear us?
audio. I could not hear y'all at all.
Oh, you can hear us from the. Oh,
yeah,
weird.
for like a split second.
How far did you hear?
Power of technology. I heard part of your outro, but your outro got cut, Spooge.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Me.
Yes.
I wasn't giving an outro. I was just responding.
Oh shit. Hagrid is in this movie.
Oh.
Nice.
Is Hagrid
Robbie, I was looking at the cast, and Robbie Coltrane, Hagrid from the Harry Potter movies, was Man at Airfield.
Nice.
Oh. Well, goddamn.
Well, goddamn.
All right, so
And
I guess we can start. I guess we got it. The sign-offs again.
Okay.
Oh, do we repeat them?
I guess so. Yeah.
All right, you gonna edit it to where we don't have to repeat them?
I don't know. I feel like
it got cut.
If it was just if it just got cut at me, then we're fine.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna cut the silence.
All right. Well, anyway, Lizard Boys forever. Lizard Snake Boys, the Lizard Men, the Snake Boys, they're all the above. They're all great.
Yeah.
All right.
Did you have one, Murder?
Oh, what did I say? General Clytus. Someone make a video. General Clytus's amazing death looped in with the Red Guard's pig squeals.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Bring me the boar worms. No, not the boar worms.
And go hell, Henry Sabrowski. I couldn't think of anything.
Yeah. Yes.
All right, this will be a bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
See you next time.
Hey, buddy.